Did you know that despite of FDA approval, many healthcare professionals are still not able to believe in AI-enabled healthcare applications? Today, we're going to discover two solutions out there that are currently improving the interoperability in the healthcare spacing to improve your administration time and building trust, safety, and equity in how we practice healthcare and delivery. Welcome to Provider's Edge, the podcast that helps healthcare entrepreneurs and innovators break down barriers and control their business, life, and future with valuable action steps. With me, your host, Sabrina Runbeck, a recovered clinician and a business deal catalyst. Let's rewrite the rules and create a positive social impact while increasing your profitability. With our ongoing exploration of how we can improve access, interoperability, especially as clinicians, reduce the administrative taxing things that we actually don't like to do, doesn't even have anything to do with our staff or patients, but we got to do it, charting and all the nuances and connecting the dot in operating a healthcare practice, system, and efficiency. Now, today, we are bringing you two more solutions in the space where we have interviewed these founders during Vive 2024 back in February, hosted by Health. And Health is having another major event in USA in Vegas, October, and we are definitely present and can't wait to share more insights from this space. And we'll be bringing you for the Health series of funding, interviewing investors on how do we really leverage in the space to get the capital we need to scale your business. Now, without further ado, let's talk about our first speaker. He is the Senior Vice President of Element Blue, Stephen Gerhardt. With over 20 years of experience in the healthcare space, Steve's company is tracking a significant issue, the overwhelming administrative tasks burdening the healthcare system. And Element Blue focuses on automating processes across various healthcare functions from frontline operations to revenue cycle, aiming to alleviate burnout and allow clinicians to focus on more patient engagement. And as Steve puts it, we have typically taken care of processes that need to be automated, the whole system. So let's hear his interview on how he improves the healthcare system. Hi, we're at Vive with Steve Gerhardt, and thank you so much for joining us. Please tell us a little bit more about your company's mission. What is the big thing that you guys are solving in the healthcare space?
Absolutely. So Element Blue has been around for about 20 years. We've been in the healthcare space for that long of the mission. We have typically taken care of processes that need to be automated in the system. So that's frontline. That's also some of the administration, some of the revenue cycle. But we get involved in HR, a lot of different functions that need to be automated, that take a lot of human labor. And the context is today, right? A lot of issues with human labor and workforce management that needs to be, alleviated with automation.
Exactly. We know healthcare professionals are having the highest burned out 2 times more than normal population. Yeah. And most of the time is instead of the actual patient engagement work, it's actually got caught up by all the administrative sides. Yeah. And it's difficult for us to say what caused that overlooping of the admin work, and that's what you guys are focusing on alleviating, so people can get to their patient, get to the conversation with their caregivers.
Work at the top of their license, right?
Yeah, we advocate as clinicians that we always advocate for our highest level of practice, and now we can actually do when you guys are taking care of the back end.
Right. And some of the automation work we're in has a 10 to 15x ROI on somebody that's a very high level, high credentialed type of person, right? So that ROI comes down tremendously when we're taking a lot of the mundane, soul crushing work, we call it, out of the system.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
the one that we just finish a whole day of patients. Now I have to chart
Yes.
endless of
Yes.
those type of work.
Yes.
Now, how have you guys been going to the market to make sure the solutions are getting to the right people's hand?
Yeah, it's a good question. So within those areas, we typically within a system would start with the innovation leader, right? And a lot of our major systems today have those efforts towards innovation, and they're helping us direct where the priorities are for the system, where they are from a competitive standpoint, where they are for the geography and their patient population, and then lead us into some pain points, right, that they have within the system. HR, marketing, we do a lot of things across system.
Right, it's that integrated way of meeting people where they are, finding out the right solutions, so you can provide that at the back end.
Right.
Now, when you're thinking about, there are a lot of innovation, right? We're at Vive. There's things are always popping up left and right.
Yeah.
So how can you uniquely stand out in the space?
Yeah. I enjoy the conference. There's so much technology here, but we also know that the systems have broken processes, just literally things that we can fix that are broken that need basically remedy. And we didn't foresee any of the pandemic coming, and now we didn't really foresee this workforce challenge. And it's literally providing some of the broken parts up front in the patient experience and the patient engagement. So sometimes those are right of the priorities where we start. One of them is, we're heavy in pediatrics. A lot of multi-layers there with obviously caregiving and in the hospital system and setting itself. And with a newborn as an example, right, there is of course, all kinds of activity that happens when the newborn is born, but there's also the clinician who has to come back and fill out a bunch of paperwork and forms and administrative things that are happening outside the room. And so we've helped in a lot of pediatric situations where we have some larger systems in developing some workflows, redeveloping some workflows with automation around that.
Exactly. When a newborn comes to life, the parents that really want to enjoy the baby, the
Right.
last thing they wanted to think about
Insurance.
is insurance. How do we pay for this day?
Right.
And then even afterwards, if we're not working for so many days and weeks, so what do we do for all the care that we needed to support ourselves
That's right.
and the baby? Now, if you can have a magic wand and then something just instantly, the biggest challenge would just disappear, what would that be for the state you guys are in?
I would say it'd be, having a proper infrastructure for doing innovation. And that means really testing. The test beds that are really not invested in. And we see a lot of movement around innovation, but there's a big challenge in the regulation and protection, of course, of the safety of our systems. We would love to have more infrastructure to test against and more investment to test against with these innovative products. I just think there's a lot of cases where we're very innovative thinking. We put in the lab environment, but we don't have that test flow and cycle to get these things in adoption properly. Sometimes we throw them in there, they don't work, and we go back to the lab. And if we had that test infrastructure in a lot of these situations with these innovative products, I think we'd be in a better situation. But it takes a lot of effort, money, et cetera, to get in proper test mode with some of these systems.
Right, because when they are larger organization, it's almost like fitting into where they have a little space for you instead of seeing it as what it is and building a tailor about these and then getting both the clinician side and the patient side engaged in this process.
There's so much investment in the EMR typically, and that is where we build large test vehicles and systems, but then there's all this connectivity that needs to be happening too. And so that anyway, that's where the magic wand I would pull right there.
Now, Vive have a lot of great energy. What really brought you to Vive, and what do you really want to get out of it?
I mean, this is just an excellent conference for us. It's a great focus and energy around innovation and products, and the customers are energized too that we want to meet with are here. It's just blossomed into this over the last 6, 7, 8 years that we've been coming. So really just appreciate all the participation that we see, frankly, here.
definitely it's about having the right energy and right people who want to focus on similar things.
Yeah.
So you can actually grow together and instead of doing it all individually and then still have to figure things out.
Right. Well, there just seems to be there's an attitude of both from the customer and the vendor side to want to meet, collaborate. That energy is here.
I so appreciate you. How can people find out more about you guys or connect with you?
Yeah, so our website's elementblue.com. My name's Stephen Gerhardt, and I serve as the Senior Vice President of Healthcare.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. What insight did you get from Steve? To me, it is how you can use the most intrinsic system and the easiest adapt system to fill a gap. Because at the end of the day, any problem has 10,000 solutions. But what is the solution that makes most sense and give you the highest ROI without even more time to implement? And for Steve's perspective, he calls it the mundane, soul crushing work that needs to be removed from the system. And it's the innovation like this that inspire us to keep going and to still stay active and passionate in the healthcare space. All right, so let's shift the gear to another fascinating area in healthcare. And I have the pleasure of speaking with Enes Hosger. He's a data scientist and entrepreneur who's been in the AI game for more than 15 years. Enes and his team are tackling a critical challenge in healthcare AI, building trust with over 700 FDA-approved AI-enabled medical devices. And you might think adoption is hard to think this way. All right, so Enes pointed out many practitioners and systems remain skeptical about using medical devices, and his mission is to make that transition much easier. Let's hear about his technology.
Hi, this is Sabrina Runbeck. We're at Vibe with some of the amazing founders in the caregiving space. I'm able to talk to them about how they are uniquely solving a problem in our healthcare system. And really, Ernest, tell us about your mission behind the company and how did you found it? And then what's the core focus that you guys are doing right now?
Sure. I'm a data scientist and an entrepreneur by background. I've been building AI products and companies in regulated industries for the last 15 years. And AI has a very special role to play in medicine and in how it's being practiced and delivered. That being said, there's a very serious problem associated with AI, and that is the trustworthiness of AI. So even though the FDA has approved some 700 or so AI-enabled medical devices, many of the practitioners, many of the health systems actually are skeptical about the safety, effectiveness, and equity of these AI models. That's our company's mission, to help ensure that all AI models being built and implemented in the healthcare ecosystem are all indeed safe, effective, and equitable.
That's amazing. And there's some misconception definitely when it comes to AI, how quickly it can take over the world or take over people's jobs versus we know humans cannot be replaced in some degree. We still have to have the sensibility of connecting with patients. It just simply help us to streamline the workflow, to better diagnostic, be more precise, and a preventative way as well. So what are something that you guys are particularly building that are supporting the patients and caregiving community?
Sure. So we're supporting the medical AI ecosystem, and most of these AI solutions have been geared towards diagnostics, and mainly in imaging domain, radiology domain, and whether an algorithm can detect, classify, or segment a structure of interest inside a, let's say, a radiology scan. And so therefore, our mission has been to help our customers and partners to build reliable AI solutions. And as you've seen in the scientific literature, AI can vary in performance quite significantly across cohorts. And today, you want to ensure that variability is minimized and patients are not adversely impacted by these AI models, but only positively affected, and how care is delivered, how treatments are designed, how the broader ecosystem stakeholders work together. Because again, indeed, AI has a special role to play, but there's still a lot of the guardrails that are missing. And so we are building those guardrails for the ecosystem.
perfect. Can you give us some specific example of things that you guys are able to build?
Sure. So right now, we're mainly focused on building the right tools and processes to help AI developers with their regulatory clearance, because the FDA does require these AI developers to show evidence how those AI models perform against U.S. data coming from U.S. patients and who are annotated granted by U.S. board-certified physician experts. So we have built a technology platform that brings our customers AI models, case-specific data sets coming from partner health systems, as well as a panel of U.S. board-certified physician experts to evaluate how those AI models perform, such that the FDA can confidently clear those AI product submissions. And that's what we orchestrate, akin to a CRO model. We run these independent validation studies on behalf of AI developers.
Awesome. So when you have the physicians and people who are seeing the gap and develop the model for them, do you also have patients or caregivers on that table to help you decipher what exactly they also want?
That's a great question. And today, the way the regulatory construct is set up, that's not part of the equation today. As far as what constitutes a regulatory submission and FDA clearance, but we do try to actively engage these communities and patient groups and different government bodies. But as far as the regulatory clearance process is concerned, some of these stakeholders are missing from the table.
Right, because at the end of the day, what we're improving is the end users, the adaptation. So if we're creating something that, yes, might be amazing, but the patients and caregivers who are supporting them are not able to actually use them or get access to these amazing technology and solutions, then what are we truly building, right?
Exactly. If what we are building as a broader technology ecosystem not being useful, beneficial for patients, physicians, healthcare administrators, then you're missing the mark. I'm a technologist, so I love building things. That being said, your technology is only as useful as what the end users sees in it, right? So therefore, we have to have a collective multi-stakeholder discussion early and often to ensure that we're building solutions that actually fit the bill.
Exactly. Now, when you guys are creating these solutions, how have your company been able to go to market to make sure that you connect to the right people to create these solutions that truly creating impact?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So we are quite proactive about connecting with the entire spectrum of stakeholders. We meet with medical AI developers at clinical conventions, for example. We work with government bodies, actively engage in discussions like the FDA or HHS or ONC. Matter of fact, we are also part of the Cancer X Moonshot that was launched by the White House over a year ago. We are part of the Cancer X Accelerator that was announced today in the inaugural cohort. So we understand that if we're going to build clinical grade AI and use clinical grade AI, then you have to bring all these stakeholders to the table: patient groups, government bodies, technology developers, healthcare systems, and so our job is to proliferate and nurture that dialogue between these groups.
Great. It's about bringing the right people together and able to have this dialogue so we're not missing pieces and truly create the solution that end users can adapt. Now, if I give you a magic wand, because we know entrepreneurship is like a roller coaster, and if there's one major thing you can just get rid of that truly can then propel your company forward, what would be that one thing?
I would not remove, but maybe remove ambiguities in the world of regulations. But arguably, it's a young industry. Medical AI, people got their early approvals based on frameworks that are not capturing the realities that pertain to the dynamic nature of AI. That being said, various government bodies, including the FDA, HHS, ONC, AHRQ, the White House, the Congress, the Senate, there are many discussions being had. That being said, the dust has not settled yet. We still have yet to see many of these frameworks being implemented. And that's both the challenge and the opportunity for us. That being said, what I would like to reduce is the ambiguities, but that's the nature of this business because we're in the early innings of a young industry.
Yes, it's getting the confusion out of the way, getting clear message so people can actually support the right channels. Mm-hmm. Now, we all love events because the energy, because the connection. So what is about Vibe that brought you here and what do you want to get out of it?
I mean, it's quite a dynamic community, and I think this group of individuals speaks the language of startups and tech investors and healthcare innovators. So it's there are not that many conferences out there that can have this innovation heavy and like-minded peer mindset of a group of individuals that can come together and talk about technology innovation in a responsible and scalable and exciting manner. So therefore, that level of excitement really drew us here.
Yes, it's all about like having the right energy and matching each other and be able to do something together, because at the end of the day, we all have the goal of improving patient outcome. We just all come from a different angle. So let's think about the creative way to join partnership. Now, how can people find out more about you guys, and what would be the good people to connect you guys with?
Yeah, so I can recommend for anybody who's interested in AI assurance in healthcare and safe, effective, and equitable use of AI, they can visit our website, www.gesund.ai, gesund.ai. And that's how we connect with health systems, government bodies, as well as technology players to help ensure that we build the right infrastructure for the AI and healthcare to flourish.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay, what's a journey that we took from AI-enabled application to streamline administrative tasks to medical devices that can really help us in better engaging with our patients and making better medical decisions? What has been your biggest takeaway? How are you also leveraging these technologies within your organization, whether as a patient direct process or you are a tech founder, also are able to push boundaries and perhaps even doing better than these two? Share with us in the comment below wherever you are listening to this episode, or post your thoughts on LinkedIn and tag me, Sabrina Runbeck. Love to hear your insight and definitely having a conversation. We're all about putting forefront of the best voices in healthcare. Remember, healthcare is not about fancy gadgets, but how easily people are actually want to use it and adapt into the system, because the bells and whistles, the shiny object will always be there. That's why it's competitive. How you are able to put the system into the existing workflow to reduce workload, that's the critical side. Tell us how you believe we can bring in more trust and efficiency into the current healthcare individual workflow. Thank you for tuning in to Provider's Edge podcast. We hope you enjoy our latest episode and found the insights and tips helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback on the show and learn what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. So please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and let us know what you think. Your feedback is essential to help us improve the show and provide you with the content you need to take your healthcare business to the next level. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.